gosh, just came in from the rain. Oh, so gross. Coffee. I just got done yesterday with a session using a ton of Soyuz mics. If you've watched any amount of videos, you've probably heard me talk about this big old crate that Soyuz is sending me to try out a bunch of different stuff. I was excited. I mean, come on, you have to play with stuff. I mean, they're not sponsoring any of these videos, so I don't have to say anything. I don't have to make any videos about them. I was just getting a bunch of toys to play with, but come on, I'm gonna make videos about them, of course. Basically, I got 3 types of microphones. The 013, this little guy. There's a tube and a FET version of that. The 017, which right now is kind of tilted because I added the pad on there and you can't really screw it in straight, but I love how they do these pads where you literally unscrew the head and then you pull off this little pad. See, there's the head off, which by the way, you could switch the capsules between this and the Bomblet because these are different styles. Having that flexibility is cool without adding extra circuitry to the mic all the time. There you go, the Bomblet. Now, if you were gonna ask me which one of these was the standout for the session, I'm not really sure I can answer the question. Here's what I used them on. I used the 2 013 tube versions. This is the FET version because there's an XLR jack in there. But the tube versions are set up on the drum set in the background as the overheads. And I've used a lot of overheads, and these things sound so smooth and open. And you know it makes a big difference when the player notices. I had my normal session players here. They're very familiar with the drum tones that they can get in this room, and even the other players, the bass player, the piano player, the guitar player, everybody noticed a difference on the drums, and really the only thing I was doing different besides the kick-out mic was these overheads. I don't even think the kick-out mic was going to their ears. But what these offered on the overheads was this crazy, smooth, open thing, and it's hard to explain. I'm interested to try the FETs right alongside and see the differences. One of the cool things about this, I've never had FET and tube versions of each mic to try next to each other to really see what a tube does to the sound. By the way, Soyuz is not sponsoring these videos. No one is. If you want to support the channel, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll have links for everything in the description below if you feel like you want to pick one of these up. I don't think it would be a bad decision, and I get a little piece of the pie. Other thing you could do, go to the Patreon where I have a lot of behind the scenes stuff. About to post one right now of a session, fly on the wall type of stuff. There's also drum samples that I post there. I put videos out early on the Patreon. Go check out that community if you're interested. Back to the video. One thing that really blew me away, and if I'm being honest, in the lineup of mics they sent me, this is not the one I thought would really surprise me. The Bomblet, also known as the 023. I put this on kick out. I actually messaged Ryan Earnhardt at Creative Sound Labs. You guys don't know him, go to his channel right now and subscribe to him. He actually shouted out the channel early on and got me a jump start into doing this YouTube thing. And he recommended using this as a kick out mic without the pad. But just this on a kick out was really, really tasty. If I'm noticing anything about these mics and the launchers that I was sent, it's that none of these are one-trick ponies. I just made a video about launchers using them in a mix standpoint as opposed to using them as a mic amplifier. Check that out here. I never know which side to point to. This side? This side? I don't know. I actually tossed one of the launchers on my R44 as a mono overhead, which that's a position I use all the time. I use that mic on there all the time, and it gave me such a different flavor. I'm kind of surprised at the difference in how usable it is and how tasty the breakup is through that transformer. It's really cool. I can definitely see a place for cloud lifters and where I would use a cloud lifter in different situations. However, how I use stuff like this, I can see switching those out for launchers. Because I want that flavor, I want that vibe, and it just does the thing. Now, I knew I wanted to use the 017 somewhere. I was a little leery because I've said this a lot in a lot of videos. I have my 017 tube mic, and that's honestly how Soyuz found me in the first place to send me microphones. I made a video about that mic, how I had to buy it because my other mic broke, only thing I could get my hands on it, and I fell in love with it. So I made a video about it. Soyuz didn't know that. I never contacted them while I was making that video, but I'm always leery to use the same mic on vocals anywhere else in the session just to create that space. And I think I might be rethinking that because using this 017 on the guitar cab was probably my favorite guitar tone I've ever gotten. Just easy. So easy. I don't have to do a thing to this tone and it's gonna sit right in the mix. I had to pad it. It was too much for the mic. We were using a Tone King Imperial, which is a fantastic amp. When we put the pad on, we really got this sweet, present, very, it's hard. If you're used to a 57 on anything guitar related, you know, there's kind of like a separation there. It is the sound. It's a cool sound. I love the sound of a 57 on a cab, but this was different. This was right here. This was immediate, and it had a very hi-fi vibe, but it wasn't piercing. Exciting things about having all of these mics here. There's a lot more experiments coming. Initially, after my first use in an actual session with actual players and an actual artist here, everybody loved the tones. And these are people who are familiar with the tones that we get in this building on a daily basis. I can't wait to see what else these things can do because this was just my first ideas and putting them on the first sources that I could think of. But I can already hear the versatility and I'm already getting ideas where I want these. I can look at the calendar when I gotta send them back and I really don't want to do that. May have already started doing the math and how much money it's gonna take for me to keep all of these here. Don't tell my wife. Just kidding. She's actually super supportive. And I would never do anything without telling her. I'm kind of frightened of her. After the first session, I'm stoked on these. I am surprised at the affordability of this one especially. Using it on drums, and we used it on acoustic guitar, and this is probably my #1 acoustic right now. I gotta pick one of these up. I think they're around 500 bucks. I could see this being useful in a lot of places. I used it on the drums, and I used it on acoustic guitar. 12th fret pointed slightly towards the sound hole. It was amazing. And the player noticed a really big difference. It beat out mics that were 4 times its cost at least, if not more. Yeah, more. Overall, these are not cheap mics, but they bat way above their weight class. And I've got ideas for where to try them next. Hit subscribe for that. I'm Resident Loser Jeremy. I'll see you in the next one.